viewers at home. This is another lesson on variation. This time around we are looking at partial variation. So this kind of variation shows relationship between a quantity and two or more other quantities in such a way that one of those two other quantities is constant while the other one varies. Let's take for instance, the owner of a private school will want to know how much he or she spends every month, be it on salary, taking care of children, transportation, buying of fuel and all those other things. If you look at it, one of these quantities is constant, at least from January to December, which is teachers' salaries. Because whatever you pay teachers in January is what you pay in February, provided that nobody commits any offense that you have to deduct salary. So salary in that calculation is constant, but the other things vary depending on the situation. For instance, the fuel you consume depends on how many times the school bus is taken out. So that is why I said other ones depend on how you use them, but that salary aspect is constant. So this in partial variation, we make use of two constants, unlike in the other three types, direct, inverse and joint. We use only one constant, but in partial variation we use two. And like we usually do in other types, we will be given the values of those two quantities. Those values are for us to get the values of the constants first. Then when we get the values of the constants, we will now get the formula connecting the two quantities we are talking about. So after getting the formula, we can now start answering questions under the question. So now, let's take this question. X is partly constant and partly varies as y. X equals to 50 when y equals 12, and x equals 42 when y equals 8. Find the formula connecting x and y. Now find the value of x when y is 5. Like I said earlier, in this case now, we can see that we have a value for x and a value for y, and another value for x, another one for y. So that means we are going to make use of two different constants. So we represent this as x equals c plus ky. Remember we say it is partly constant, so we use c to represent the first part of it. This c is a constant and partly varies as y. Then the other constant is the one that will be attached to the second quantity, which is y. If the question says partly varies inversely as y, here will be k over y. So this is how we represent, but you have to indicate that c and k are what? They are constants. C and k are constants. So we are given two values of x and y. When x is 50, y is 12. So x is 50 equals c plus y is 12, that is 12k. We take this as equation 1. When x is 42, y is 8. X is 42, c plus 8k. This is equation 2. So we can see that this is taking us to simultaneous equation using the elimination method, because elimination method is easier and faster here. So just since 12 is bigger than k, we just say equation 1 minus equation 2. Equation 1 minus equation 2. 50 minus 42 is 8. C minus c is out already. 12 minus 8 is 4k. So if we divide both sides by 4, 4 cancels 4. 4 in 8 is 2. So that means our k equals 2. Now, going back to this equation 1, or we can also make use of equation 2. We have c plus 12k. So 50 equals c plus 12 times our k is 2. So 50 equals c plus 12 times 2, 24. 50 minus 24 equals c. So our c now is 26. We are asked to find the formula connecting x and y. The formula connecting x and y is this formula. The formula connecting x and y is x equals c plus ky. This is the formula connecting x and y. And we have gotten the value of c to be 26 and the value of k to be 2. So this is the formula connecting x and y. The second question says we should find the value of x when y equals 5. When y equals 5, we have 26 plus 2 times 5. So x equals 26 plus 2 times 5 is 10. So x equals 26 plus 10 is 36. So this is how to attempt question on partial variation. The only challenge here is if we've forgotten how to solve simultaneous equation. That is why we treated simultaneous equation first before this topic, because we already know that partial variation usually involves simultaneous equation. So if you're having any difficulty in doing this, you can simply refer back to the lesson on simultaneous equation, particularly that elimination method, so that we'll be able to understand this perfectly. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. God bless you.